debit card knows what you've got left in your account. A credit card in some respects is giving you entitlement to a second or a third salary that you haven't earned yet.
It's dangerous territory. Hello and welcome to How to Adult, a podcast and video series from The National, where we teach you and explore the life skills you were never formally taught. I am Hala Nasar, and today's episode is about budgeting, where we speak to Mike Coady, a financial advisor and CEO who will share his best advice and tips on how to budget our finances. What is it about budgeting? Why is it so hard?
You know, I've been in Dubai for 20 years, and of all the different changes I've seen to financial advice and regulation and landscape, this budgeting thing is this thing that consistently has ever-increasing problems. And I would actually say people find it harder to budget today than they did 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, why is that?
Most of it's this demands on lifestyle. You know, 20 years ago when I first came, a lot of people would work for oil and gas companies. Often their villa, their car, their allowances were paid for, and that salary was almost left over and able to be saved. Nowadays, people work on these more all-inclusive contracts, and this budgeting is an ever-increasing difficult scenario. The most important thing is first and foremost a desire, you know, that passion and that want to, that regardless of what comes up, the most important thing is the savings and investments that they want to do. If they don't have that, then of course, when the new iPhone comes out or their friends want to go for a dinner, that will become a priority. And of course, you get this sort of delayed gratification of saying, well, listen, I'll save next month, I'll save in the future.
So what's the solution here? I need some of your tips to find out the right way to budget your money.
First and foremost, work out if you want to budget. If you don't want to budget and you don't want to save, don't put yourself under too much of a hard time. Now, of course, there will come a time at some point in the future when you do want to save, you should want to save. And that's when, of course, you start to then think about what technique you might use for budgeting and forecasting, you know, your monies, your lifestyle. So for me, the most important thing is awareness. That sense of understanding of what's coming in, what's going out, and whether you should, in theory, have some left over. And often awareness will come from just running your numbers, getting some basic Excel spreadsheet. Often we should think of ourselves as our own limited company. What is our incomes? What is our expenditure? And what is our profit? And it's that profit then can be invested, and it's that profit then can keep working every month.
I mean, that already sounds like a lot. So what other tip can you give us that would help us budget in a way that's, you know, makes it easier for us to budget?
It may be because I'm older than some, but when you had cash in your envelope, whether that be for a week or for a month, as that cash started to diminish over the course of that period, you would start to spend less, or you would say, well, listen, I can't afford to go out on that last Friday of the month. Yeah. Of course, when there's always a debit or a credit card, it makes it easier to say, well, I'll deal with it next month. So the first thing that I'd always recommend people do is automate it. And essentially you go online and you automate that 10% of your salary, fixed amount, goes at the first of each month or 1 or 2 days after paydays and starts to go into that account, and you don't use that for any reason. That could be another current account within your banking arrangement. Probably one that's maybe a higher interest account, certainly one that doesn't come with a debit or credit card. So it becomes a little bit harder to reach. The step further might be some sort of savings mechanism, some sort of stocks, some shares, some ETFs. Again, so you're getting some additional return on the provision of those savings.
So simply take a little bit of your money and put it in another account or put it on the side and just make sure that this money is not touched.
Correct.
Do you have any more tips for us?
I always think about money often is time. Time is equally valuable. So you often have two ingredients to building up wealth. It's what you can save, and it's what those savings can lead into given time. So a good example is if I didn't buy an iPhone when I'm 30 and I kept the money back in some sort of mild investment, that would be worth 3 times more than it is now at age 50. The reality is when you look at the numbers, this compounding effect. So if I was to save over a 5-year period, 10-year period, 20-year period, although it might appear small and not worthwhile, the cumulative effect because of the growth has exponential positive effects.
No amount is too small to save.
100%. It's the habit.
It's the habit. So build the habit.
100%. Build the habit.
Build the habit. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mike. This has been really awesome, and we've all learned a lot. Thank you for watching. You can listen to the podcast version of this series on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.